Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8. 3 days, 3 more days from when this video will be going up until, just over 72 hours from now until your boy, your boy is back. That, of course, being Barry Allen, soon to be in gold boots as well, so be your boy in gold. So he's going to be back on our screens. Now, obviously, in the lead up to the premiere to any show really, but obviously just specifically The Flash, we always get these interviews and various other things to promote the episodes, whether it's photos, trailers, descriptions, everything like that. And it just feels like something's been coming out every day or multiple things a day. So I'm a bit playing in catch up mode because a lot of it is sort of only relevant until it's only relevant before the first episode airs. You know what I mean? So over like today, the next tomorrow, and probably the next day as well, I'm just gonna be trying to catch up on all the stuff that's come out. So if it seems like there's just a lot and it looks maybe the same, it's not. It's just that it's it falls into the same category, and I'm just trying to catch up because it's just too much to put in 1 or 2 videos. So there's a couple of things to go over in this video. The first is that they actually released the synopsis or description for episode 3 for season 8, the third part of this Armageddon event that we're getting to kick off the season. And also there is another interview with Gustin, which I did allude to, or not even allude to, I just said it was there in yesterday's video from when this will come out, which was an interview with TV Line. This is with Entertainment Weekly. It sort of dives into some different things, or at least provides different answers, so it's not the same, so it's worth going over. So yeah, and there's actually and also there's a casting announcement, which I'll just mention briefly when we get into the video. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts, theories, predictions, all that good stuff in the comments section down below. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you're looking forward to the Flash coming back and any of the things that are brought up in this video, want to drop a like on the video to show your support and excitement. So yeah, here is the synopsis for episode 3 for season 8. The third part of Armageddon, or to give it its official title, Armageddon Part 3. Barry meets Black Lightning at the Hall of Justice after things take a dire turn with Despero. Iris suspects something is off with Despero's vision of the future, so she seeks help from a powerful ally. So yeah, we have Black Lightning there, but there are more guest stars for this episode. Obviously, as I said, Black Lightning is mentioned in the freaking synopsis. However, we also have Batwoman, or Ryan Wilder, Alex Danvers from Supergirl, and Ryan Choi. They're not mentioned in the synopsis, but they're mentioned like in the sort of overall thing that they're going to be in this episode. Now, this does side with what we were saying, or sort of supports with what we were saying in previous videos, that Alex Danvers and Ryan Choi are the most used of the guest stars by the look of it, as they appear in later episodes as well, from what we know. So they're in this episode, episode 3, maybe episode 4, but I would say episode 5 is where they are as well. But in regards to the first bit, Barry meets Black Lightning at the Hall of Justice after things take a dire turn with Despero. Now, I'm wondering whether this is the only episode where Barry and Black Lightning are at the Hall of Justice, or if Barry goes back to the Hall of Justice in this episode to meet again with Black Lightning, and in episode 2, there's also scenes with them, because Black Lightning is in episode 2 as well. So if they don't meet the Hall of Justice, where do they meet in episode 2? Because Barry's not going to Friedland, where Black Lightning's from, because they filmed in Atlanta. So I'm assuming they're going to have to meet just somewhere mutual between the two. So I would assume it's the Hall of Justice. So maybe they go back there, after something goes bad with Despero, or maybe the advice that Black Lightning gives Barry in episode 2, or what they discuss and the plan they come up with, doesn't really work, and that's that dire turn with Despero, which requires them to rethink things over, which then brings in those other characters of Alex Danvers, Batwoman, and Ryan Choi. But yeah, it's cool that we're getting Black Lightning in 2 episodes. We were led to believe he was only in 1, but I think it's minimal. I think either this episode's only going to have 1 or 2 scenes with Black Lightning, or the previous episode with Will as well. So I'm going to predict that episode 2 has the most Black Lightning in it, and this episode maybe only has 1 scene or something, like 1 or 2 scenes with him, and then it leads into those other characters coming in, because I think this is the only episode with Batwoman in it, so they're going to try and use as much of her as they can, you would have to think. But the second part of the synopsis, Iris suspects something is off with Despero's vision of the future, so she seeks help from a powerful ally. So I'm curious to see who this powerful ally could be because, I mean, Batwoman, Alex Danvers, and Ryan Choi, on the base of things that we know about them now, they don't have powers. So is this maybe Dion Owens, the Still Force? Because we know he's in episode 1, but there could also be episode 3 because, as I said, episode 3, but we know that they filmed stuff for episode 3 while filming episode 1. So maybe though Dion Owens was there to film during episode 1's filming time, he was actually filming scenes for episode 3, which are these scenes with Iris. So my prediction around this is that it's Dion Owens, the Still Force, avatar, I want to call it, or the person connected to the Still Force, rather than anyone else. Might be wrong, but that's my prediction. But yeah, let's get into this casting news. And of course, it's the casting news that everyone was waiting for. Of course, no one. But yeah, for one episode this season, this was actually revealed by Collider. I'm pretty sure they were the ones that revealed this. Came out of nowhere, extremely random. It was, yeah, just, as I said, really random. Just like, what's going on here when that came out. But the hotness is returning. You might be wondering, who the hell is the hotness? Like, what the hell is that? And that's Jaco Birch, aka Give Me My Money, from the Run Iris Run episode. Yes, I think a lot of people are questioning the sanity of everyone involved with the show. This character is coming back. No offense to the actor, but the character is just pretty much a walking meme. And I'm very curious to see why he's back, because he's not going to have any proper story. So I'm assuming that maybe it's time travel, or I don't know. I don't know why they're bringing this character back specifically. It's really random. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just wait and see what happens. When I saw it, I just sort of, all you could do was just like chuckle and go, what the hell were they doing? But, because everything else about this season, I'm looking forward to. I don't think there's much that people are like nitpicking going, oh, I don't like that. But this is one where I'm like, why? But hopefully it's for the meme. If they do it for the meme, then I'm all for it. But if it's meant to be taken serious in any way, shape, or form, then potentially there's some concerns. But yeah, let's jump into this interview with Grant. I've just realized this video has already gone for like 7 minutes, so we've got an interview to get through, so let's go. So as I said, this is with Entertainment Weekly, EW.com, whichever way you want to word it. And yeah, let's just jump into it. How does Armageddon compare to the typical Arrowverse crossover? It was cool because it all took place at home, which was a little more convenient for the cast and crew of The Flash. We weren't juggling so many different production schedules because it was just one continuous Flash story. It's almost more like a feature compared to a lot of the other crossovers we've done, where the vibes are constantly different going to other sets and other crews and different scripts. All these scripts were written by showrunner Eric Wallace and our writers. It kind of felt like our version of a little CW Flash feature. It was a little easier to balance because it was all Flash schedules and we were inviting all these other cool guests over to our home base. So when he says feature, he means like a movie. So it's almost like a mini Flash movie. So when you finish, Armageddon, you could watch these 5 episodes and almost, edit them together, maybe remove some scenes that don't need to be there. And it could be this, much longer, Flash movie or CW Flash movie, which, it could be. And I think I wouldn't be surprised too much if someone did that and uploaded it on the internet somewhere. What's the coolest interaction Barry had with one of the many guests? My favorite thing, and not to discredit anything else, is I have a lot of really cool scenes. A lot of them meet at the beginning of Armageddon with Cress as Jefferson with Black Lightning. We had I think 3 jam-packed days of work, but it was a lot that we got into those 3 days. It was all at the Hall of Justice set, which is a cool location on this airfield. It was a day shoot leading into 2 night shoots. It was just a cool filming experience, but also I think some of the best heavy scenes that I have in the first 3-4 episodes. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those turned out. I know we had a good time shooting them, and there were a lot of different elements in those scenes. So yeah, so that says that Cress Williams or, Black Lightning was, they did filming for 3 days. So yeah, I guess that works out to a decent amount of scenes, especially if they were jam-packed days of work. So they probably did more than they normally would, at least in regards to one filming location. So yeah, I'm interested to see how they spread over those 2 episodes of episode 2 and episode 3, even though I'm expecting episode 2 to be the majority of the Black Lightning stuff. Cress had told me multiple times how much he loved working with you on Crisis and that he was looking forward to doing it again, and it sounds like the feeling is mutual. What do you enjoy about working with him so much? First of all, he's just a really nice guy and he's been in the business a lot longer than I have. I love working with guys like that who just have stuff that they can share with me, and there's a lot I can learn from somebody like that. Not just in the craft of acting, but how he carries himself in the business, carries himself on set. I just have fun talking and working with him. But he's a really serious, well-prepared, good actor. They give us really good material and he shows up ready to go. It's just fun. It's different than any of the other dynamics I have on the show. It's special because it's different. I think it's mutual, but we really, really enjoy working with each other. What makes Barry and Jefferson's dynamic different? He's a lightning-based hero, which is not incredibly different from Barry's powers. Barry has this connection with the Speed Force, which is obviously different from Jefferson's powers, but the whole reason Barry goes to Jefferson during the Armageddon 5-parter is for a very specific reason, for the powers that Jefferson has. He needs him specifically to help him achieve something that is kind of a dark twist in, I believe, the second episode. So Black Lightning is lightning based. Barry can potentially get maybe like more powered up through lightning or through powering something. So that gets me very interested there. Like, is Barry specifically going to Black Lightning to help him power something up? Especially if there's a dark twist in there as well. I wonder if whatever happens there doesn't really work and that leads into some issues in episode 3. That'd be very curious, but I'm very excited to see Black Lightning and Flash together on screen again. Their moments in Crisis were awesome, or some people's favorites. So it's just cool to see them back on screen together, and hopefully this isn't the last time that we see both Black Lightning and Flash hanging out. The introduction of the Hall of Justice set was pretty exciting. As a Superman and comics fan, how did it feel to return there? It was cool. It was also bittersweet because as we were there, we were like, man, we're not here with everybody. Supergirl is ending. It was sad, almost because this was supposed to be where our squad hooked up, and we haven't done that yet. I'm hoping we get to do that in some capacity, but it was cool just to be back with Cress. We have a lot of action take place on the set. We just have good scenes in general that take place on the set, but it's a cool room to shoot in. It's a real life functioning hangar for people working on airplanes. So yeah, I think that's something that's going to be maybe a bit odd when we get that Hall of Justice scene, is the fact that they set that stuff up at the end of Crisis, and they haven't been able to do anything with it because of the pandemic and not being able to do a full-on crossover. There's issues with the fact that they had to recast Batwoman. Supergirl's ended, but with the way Supergirl ended, if you haven't watched it, I guess I won't give too much spoilers. The door is open for all those characters that were involved, like Martian Manhunter and Supergirl, to still be a part of that. So the only one that's really not going to be there, I guess, is Ruby Rose's Batwoman. And this Armageddon event will introduce the new Batwoman of Ryan Wilder in with, I guess specifically Barry, who is a part of that quote-unquote Justice League. How are things going for Barry and Iris's marriage? They're doing well. When we pick up, everything is in a good place, or everybody's in a good place, I want to say. We get to see them having this nice little romantic dinner at home that is comedically interrupted by one of our guest stars that shows up, but they're in a good place. We're still getting the signs that they'd like to start a family and move forward with their lives, but Despero's arrival and everything else kind of gets in the way of all of that. Iris is still dealing with her time sickness, and Barry's not aware of that at this point. That's one thing Iris has going on that we'll start to get hints of. So we know that this time sickness thing is going to be going throughout most, if not the majority of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play it out in these Armageddon events, whether it is just minor, and then like once we get to like episode 6 and beyond after Armageddon, they sort of start to ramp it up. I've always said that I've said previously that they sort of dropped the ball by not letting us know that she still had this time sickness thing at the end of last season. They deleted a scene from the finale for some reason. They should have kept it in because it actually lets us know. But yeah, I wonder how long it's hidden and how bad it could potentially get. And the final question from this EW interview. Finally, Barry had such a close relationship with Oliver. How would you describe his dynamic, with Oliver's daughter, Mia? I wouldn't say that she kind of replaces the Oliver dynamic by any means. She's a very different character than Oliver. I love Kat's take on the character. She's a little spunky badass. They're good teammates, and she works a lot with the whole team actually when she shows up on the show and falls right in with us. Grant and Kat are probably closer at this point than Barry and Mia are, just because we haven't seen them develop that relationship on camera in the way that Steven and I had years and years to do. So I've not put my foot down, it sounds like overly forceful, but I've made it pretty clear I really didn't like Mia Queen on Arrow. I thought she was a Not a very well portrayed character, interrupted the final season of Arrow, borderline almost ruined it. If she was in more of that season, she would have actually ruined the final season, but thankfully she wasn't in much of it. And it's not Kat McNamara's fault. It just wasn't a very well set up character. And I'm very interested to see if the Flash, you know, just this like event works better for the character, because the issue on Arrow is they try to make her the main focus and steal the main focus away from Oliver, and they're clearly not going to do that in this event. They're not going to bring in Mira and go, she's the main character for this episode. She's just going to play a role, and I think she will work better in it. You know, I actually have faith that she'll work better in it, and I hope that it does, because as I said, didn't work before, and I can tell that Kat McNamara likes playing the character, so hopefully it works better this time, and maybe it leads to her coming back if she's better represented this time around. But obviously she is from the future, so there's a lot of question marks in regards to how she comes back. They pretty much already, well, they have already confirmed alternate timelines and time travel and alternate realities and everything like that. So is she involved with an alternate reality? Is it the proper Mia? We'll have to wait and see, but I'm very curious to see how they set her up in this event. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on everything we went over in this video. And yeah, if you have different responses and different views on what I talked about in this video, let me know in the comments section down below, and just let me know what you're looking forward to the most from the stuff that we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.